Hello and welcome to a video on the Planet Zach YouTube channel. This is another entry in the What the Heck is a Sonic Game series. If you've been following this series, you will know that I have covered everything from Sonic Adventure DX up to Shadow the Hedgehog. So you might be thinking that this video will talk about the next game, which is Sonic 06, which is its own can of worms. But that's not what today's video is going to be covering. I'm going to talk briefly about the different re-releases of Sonic games that have happened over the years. Because I was initially just going to talk about the little changes to like the musical tracks and stuff that happened in the two most recent ones. But I think there's like a larger issue at play here, because if you've been keeping score, Sega has a really rocky history with re-releases. For every Sonic Jam and Sonic Mega Collection, there's your Sonic Adventure DXs and your Game Boy Sonic 1s, and then more recently we've had Sonic Colors Ultimate, and there's just so much variance in the quality of these remasters and remakes and ports. It's really bizarre. Every game company is going to handle things like this a little bit differently. More recently, we've seen Sega has either added things to their releases or changed a few things to certain aspects of the game. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I don't think that adding new features or adding moves that weren't originally in the game is a bad thing, or even making changes to the music isn't inherently bad. But it stands out a lot more when everything else is working against the re-release. I personally grew up playing Sonic Adventure DX on the PC. I got the PC version for Christmas one year after I had discovered Sonic through the GameCube version of Sonic Adventure 2. And since I didn't own a GameCube or anything at the time, we just had the family computer, and so my parents got me Sonic Adventure DX, and I played that game to death. And I personally would have never known there was anything that was like significantly changed from the original game. But I actually recently watched a video by Cybershell where he details a lot of different things that are either not working properly or as intended, or just are broken about that particular re-release of the game. And I think it was especially bad on the PC version, and it never really stopped me from having a good time playing the game. But then, of course, that version is typically what gets ported to other systems. Like we've got Sonic Adventure DX was re-released on the Xbox 360 back when that was still around, and that's actually the way I normally play it these days. I play it with the backwards compatibility on my Xbox One, and it's not terrible. And then they also released the remasters of both of those games on Steam, and I'm pretty sure they're based on, if not the PC version, then at least the GameCube version. There is no real way to play the original version that you would have had on the Dreamcast, short of going out and finding a Dreamcast and a working copy of the game. And that's kind of insane to think about. And then you look at this, and even some of the more recent ports of those remasters have introduced their own glitches. And sometimes it's bigger things, like I know for a while the Steam port of Sonic Adventure 2 Battle had this weird glitch in City Escape where you had like the vehicles on top of you while you were trying to play the stage, and it basically ruined your ability to play it, which thankfully they patched that out. Some of them are smaller graphical things. Some of the Chow don't render properly in the Chow Garden. Like if you have a shiny two-tone variant Chow, it glows really brightly for no apparent reason and loses its shine and just basically is a glowing thing. And a lot of people like that, but it's definitely not working as intended. Both of these glitches were introduced by the Steam and Xbox 360 ports. They weren't even part of the original remaster. You didn't have these problems, and they just kind of showed up. That's how things go with this sort of stuff. So that's one of the first examples. And then, of course, more recently, we had Sonic Colors Ultimate, which came out, and good gravy. I saw all kinds of videos talking about how glitchy and awful this game is, to the point where I was like, maybe I shouldn't buy this, because, like, I personally have a copy of the Wii version, and I have a Wii U, and I have a save file for it on my Wii U, so I can just play it whenever I want, you know? And mainly the real reason I ended up deciding to go ahead and purchase it was I was like, I want to see how it is, and, like, try to do a review on it, which I will in the future when I actually cover Sonic Colors in this series. But I also wanted to be able to have footage of the game, because, like, a lot of these I'll incorporate footage of the game if I can, but I don't have the means to record on every system that I own. I really can only record things on my PC and on my Xbox, so I'll take what I can get. But good gravy, even I waited out the storm. I was like, this game is clearly a hot mess. I'm going to wait until it gets through its round of patches, and hopefully by the time I get to play it, it'll be okay. And so I bought it a few months ago and started playing it. I haven't quite finished it yet, but already I've still been running into things, like, and there are things that I know other people have noticed. Like, there are objects that are not rendering the way they're intended to. There is the whole issue with the purple chaser robot. If it's like, sometimes it will just not have the indicator that it's going to fire its laser, and that makes the sections with it pretty impossible. Like, it's insane. And then the loading times are significantly increased from the Wii version, which is a bit odd, because, you know, you would expect that it would run better on newer hardware and not worse, but that's clearly what's happening. So, you know, it's a whole thing. And then you couple that with the fact that they messed around with the music tracks, which the music in that game, I mean, obviously, if you're a Sonic fan, you know the music's one of the best parts of any Sonic game. And the music in Sonic Colors is pretty solid, but now we've got different tracks. So, you know, making changes like that, it's going to upset people no matter how good the music is or what have you. It's just going to make people be like, why would you do this? And then, you know, even more recently because that I believe happened holiday of 2021, but more recently, earlier this summer, they released Sonic Origins, which I actually ended up purchasing at the same time as Sonic Colors Ultimate, and people have been complaining about glitches in Sonic Origins as well. I personally didn't experience a whole lot of things that I would have known were glitches. That doesn't mean I didn't encounter them, it just means I didn't experience anything that I was like, that probably isn't working the way it's supposed to. I have said it before and I'll say it again, I have very limited experience with the classic titles, especially like some of the ones in this collection. Like, I've never played Sonic CD before, and I've never played Sonic and Knuckles, like Sonic 3 and Knuckles together as one game. I've never done that. And even what I have played of its two halves has been very limited. Thankfully, I was able to get through all four of the games, at least Sonic's playthrough. I haven't tried any of the other characters, but I want to at least do it with Sonic. I'll probably at least do Knuckles' story in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, because I know it was actually, like, that was the initial intention, was that you played as Sonic and then you played as Knuckles. But I really just wanted to see what the games were like as Sonic. And I know they've made a lot of different changes too. Like, they've included newer moves, like the drop dashes in all 4 titles and things like that. But still, you've got people who are like, this is not working like it's supposed to. So, I mean, I don't know if there is a good answer to all of this. Like, clearly Sega just has issues with this sort of thing. They tend to want the final product to be out the door when it's supposed to or when they want it to, and they don't seem to focus on making sure that it runs like it's supposed to do. And we've seen it happen over and over again. It's a story that has been told a dozen times, and I don't know. I mean, I will say this: I'm glad that these remasters and remakes are happening, because even though they aren't the best quality some of the time, they do make it possible for new fans to experience these games. Like, that's really good. Because, like, if I hadn't been able to play Sonic Adventure DX as a kid, I might not have gotten into the series as much as I did. And I played through it with all of its wounds and scars, and I still had a grand old time with it. So maybe it is kind of unfortunate that Sega doesn't seem to put as much care into these as we would like for them to, but at the very least, it is a good way to get new people interested in the franchise. And I think that's very important. Like, I'll hear people say, oh, Sonic Generations was my first Sonic game, and it makes me feel, like, super old. But it's like, oh, great, so people come to this series all the time. Like, it's not like if you're a Sonic fan, you've been that way for pretty much as long as the series has been around. Which, that's not even true for me, you know? Like, Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic Adventure DX, those were my very first Sonic games. Like, I've played the classics a little bit over the years, and more recently I've gotten to experience them in a more complete form. But those are the adventure titles, not just the originals, but like the remakes. Those were the first games that I ever got to sit down and play, and that's what got me into Sonic. So I'm personally really glad that they're widely available on Steam and things like that. But at the same time, I do try to, like, put myself in the shoes of the people who have loved the classics since they came out and, like, are just really a little bit upset with some of the things that have happened with them over the years. But I think the best we can hope for is that Sega gets better about this, and even if they don't, we still have the originals, and hopefully people that find the remakes can look past all their flaws and still enjoy the series. That is my hope for the future of Sonic. And honestly, I've always operated under the grounds that no game is perfect. I mean, I was playing through Knuckles' version of Sonic Mania, and the people who are responsible for that game, I mean, they are gods among men with how talented they are. But, like, I can't even tell you how many times I got stuck in a wall with Knuckles. And I even uploaded a short video showing one that I got into that I could not get out of. Literally all I could do was either restart the level or wait for time over. and it was literally a very repeatable glitch too. So like, even the greats make mistakes. Everybody's human, and I think a lot of the issues we're having, the new generation of consoles, or the what's out right now, is so vastly different. Like, you've got the Switch, which I honestly believe has more in common with Nintendo's handheld legacy than it does with the current generation of consoles. Like, it's a good concept, but it struggles to even run some of Nintendo's games. Like, I play Animal Crossing. If I put too much stuff in one spot, I'm gonna be experiencing movement slowdown for my character, lag, frame rate drops, and even pop-in of objects. Like, that's just kind of the nature of that. So when you've got all of these vastly different consoles with vastly different capabilities, and you're trying to literally put a game on all of them, it can't be as smooth as we'd like it to be. You've got to cater to the lowest common denominator, or you're just gonna have a game that suffers. And even when you do that, you're reducing the quality for other things, and it's insane. So I hope y'all can understand why it's still a good thing that these games are being made more widely available, and just be vocal about the fact that this is not okay, and maybe they'll listen. But anyways, I think that's gonna wrap up this video. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see y'all in the next one.